Hey guys, we are back with Izzy here on the Liberty Hour. We just finished our discussion on gun control, and there's a lot when it comes to that issue, so make sure you watch those previous parts here on YouTube or on Facebook if you're watching through there, or on Spreaker if you're watching through the website. But go ahead and get into our last two issues here. So I wanted to touch on something that's big news today in terms of Trump. So Trump's tariffs prompt global threats to retaliation. So this is the story coming out of New York Times. A day after President Trump took a swing at United States trading partners by threatening stiff and sweeping tariffs on steel and aluminum from outside the country, they hit back. They promised to retaliate against quintessential American goods like Kentucky bourbon, blue jeans, and Harley-Davidson motorcycles. That is likely to turn into a wave of protest aimed at American products as other countries, including traditional allies, respond to Mr. Trump's plan to clamp down on imports of metals from overseas. Canada, China, and the EU have already said they would respond with tariffs of their own that could lead to billions of dollars in American export losses. Those levies would harm the farmers and business interests that the Trump administration had promised to protect, and would fuel a trade fight that could undermine the president's goal of strengthening the American economy and industry. The thing with this, and I don't understand, because he came into his presidency talking about wanting to expand the economy and do good on that front. And in terms of the stock market and taxes, and I think a few other issues, I think he's done a good job. However, this is something I just don't understand why he would want to do that. Now, he has mentioned during his campaign that he disagreed with TPP, which is a free trade deal. And my thing is, personally, I think free trade works. And I think that him, going out and talking about this, if you're going to engage in a trade war and you want to have a good economy, it's just not going to happen, period. It's just not. No. And that's basically what is being threatened here, is we're going to get into a trade war with countries we have engaged business in for so long, especially China. That could be one that's really dangerous. And I don't understand why he wants to try to keep making more enemies when we already have enemies in North Korea, and we're only becoming more and more enemies by the day with Russia, I would say, even though the Democratic Party wants to make it seem like it's not the case. I don't understand why Trump feels like he needs to do this. I just don't think China. Oh, thank you. Are we good? Can you hear me? Izzy? Izzy, are you there? All right, I'm going to call her back real quick. I think something just messed up there. All right, give me one sec. Let me try this again. Yeah, I know there's something. There we go. Hey, how's it going? Hey, how's it going? Can you hear me?
Hey, I'm not sure what happened.
No, I think it was my microphone as well, to be fair. Izzy, can you hear me? Oh, I think her internet's cutting out a little bit here. I'll try to call her back. Izzy. Yeah, it's just kind of cutting out a little bit. All right, I'm going to try to call her back one more time. If not, then I might just end that part there. We've had a great talk. There's only one other thing I wanted to talk about, and if I have to, I'll just touch on it myself. See if this works. There we go. Let's hope this works. Connecting.
Are you back?
Yes, I'm back. Can you hear me? Izzy? Oh, it's not my internet. I don't think it is, because my show's still going live. Gotta love technology, bro. Gotta love technology. It's not perfect all the time. Izzy, can you hear me? Izzy, you there? Dang it. That's all right. Izzy, if you can hear me, I'm going to, if you don't mind, I'm sorry about this, because I know technology sucks sometimes. I only have one other thing I want to talk about, so I'm going to go ahead and finish that up, and I'll go ahead and get on, but I apologize. I'm sorry that everything's not working right now, but thank you very much for being on. I appreciate it. You've been a pleasure, and I'd love for us to be able to do this again. So I'll try to call you one more time and see if that works, but if not, I'll just go ahead and finish everything up with the rest of everybody. So I'll end this and I'll try to call you back because I still can't hear you for some reason. All right, we'll try this one more time. If it doesn't, there's just one other issue I'm going to touch on, then I'll get to the sports side with my other guest. Izzy, can you hear me? Izzy?
Can you hear me?
Yes! Hey, we're back! Can you hear me? Izzy?
Technology is...
Oh, I know. Technology sucks, right?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Can you hear me? It's going like in and out. It's better than it was a minute ago. I can... Yeah, now it's kind of like blinking out again. Hey, once again, thank you very much for being on. You've been a pleasure. I greatly appreciate it. I'm just going to touch on this one last thing here. For the future, we'll definitely have to do this again. I thank you very much for being on. You've been a pleasure. Thank you very much, Izzy. Take care. All right. Well, that sucks. You know, you got to love technology at times. But the last thing I just wanted to touch on, I'll do it real quick here with you guys, is this issue the entire last week about the West Virginia teachers' strike. She's trying to call one more time. I'll try it. Why not? Izzy, are you there?
Can you... Yeah, I'm there. I don't know what is going on.
I don't know either. Can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
Woo.
All right, never mind. So we'll wait on that one thing I was just talking about. Sorry these last 5 minutes have gone by pretty weird, guys, but you gotta love technology. So we're gonna go ahead and go back to the one thing I was talking about on Trump's tariffs. Did you hear everything I said on that? Just want to make sure.
Yeah, I did.
Okay, so I'll let you go ahead and respond. What are your thoughts on what Trump's doing when it comes to tariffs? And yeah, what are your thoughts on free trade and everything?
So I get why he's doing it from from his perspective, that keeping American steel and American aluminum is his way of making America great again. But what he needs to understand is historically, there's a thing called dependency theory. When you isolate your country and you put tariffs on other nations on their imports, it only makes your economy worse. It does not help. It creates a lack of free market development, a lack of incentive, inflation. It has a ton of causes and effects. And then what would happen to our trade alliances would be disastrous if we do that to steel and aluminum, two of our biggest imports.
No, for sure.
You know, if we do that, you know China's going to do that back to us, and we cannot afford to make our relationship with China even rockier than it already is.
Exactly, and that's the one thing I think that scares me most out of everything that he's doing here with his proposal, or what he just is doing. I'm just curious, have you watched Black Panther yet?
I do know I have tried to go see it 3 times. I want to see it so bad.
Well, all I'm going to say, I won't spoil the movie for you, but anybody that's seen it, Trump is taking the Wakandan policy when it comes to trade. And it's not going to work out well, I'll say that.
That's funny. I get that. That was funny. I get that.
Okay, cool. So away from that, the last thing I wanted to go ahead and talk about is this big story out of West Virginia. There's the entire public school system in West Virginia is down. There's nobody at the schools. It was because the teachers are striking, and it's entered its 7th day. So this is out of Charleston, West Virginia. A statewide teacher strike in West Virginia entered its 7th day on Friday, with teachers defying efforts by the state's governor and union leaders to end the walkout with a deal to raise pay. Earlier this week, James C. Justice, the governor, announced a plan to raise teacher salaries by 5%, and state union leaders said teachers would return to work on Thursday. But teachers across the state have refused, saying they will not return until the state legislature completes the deal, and counties across the state have kept schools closed. Wearing red T-shirts, often blazoned with the names of their counties, teachers filled the chambers on the state senate on Friday morning and filled the hallways and rotunda of the Capitol, chanting, "We're not leaving." At this point, everybody's still prepared to be out for the long haul, said Julie Alderman, 35, a first-grade teacher in Logan County in the state's southern section, who was waiting for a babysitter to arrive so she could head to Charleston, the capital. We're starting to kind of say, wow, this really might last a while. And that's the problem is... I am all for free speech and teachers, doing this and everything. But at the same time, you gotta, it's hard because, I mean, these people have lives and everything. So, if they can't afford to live, off of what they're making, I get that. But the thing is, they do have kids to take care of and educate at their jobs. And,
Absolutely.
the governor and the state union leaders have tried to compromise, and it's not even good enough for them.
No. And the problem is, again, I completely agree with you that when that is their salary, that is their career, that if they aren't being able to live off of that, there's a problem. But there's also a larger problem with the fact that you are now hindering these students' education. Like, if you want to go to your state capitol at 3 o'clock when you let your kids out, fine, you go for it. That is your right. It is your right to have that freedom of speech. But you are hindering those children.
Exactly, yeah, and that's a huge problem.
Absolutely, it's frustrating. If it was 3:05, you go for it, sweetie. Like, have fun. But
yeah,
in school time, in school day, no, absolutely not.
Yeah, no, it's a huge problem because you have kids. Well, you actually have people of the state that have paid taxes towards, governments that they hope that the kids will get a good education. And in reality, when teachers do this, even though because they are getting money, I don't want to be so hard on the teachers because I understand how they feel, but you almost are thieving people of their money, so you're because you're responsible for taking care of their kids.
Oh, absolutely, exactly. And the fact that us children are if they want something better for their careers and their lives, they're actually hindering that by not letting these children get educated. Because if the children are educated, they're able to do something about it. But by doing this, by forestalling their education, putting it on hold, you're eliminating that factor.
No, exactly. That's exactly what you're doing, and it's just not right on so many levels, in my opinion. I think that there does need to be a compromise that gets reached, and I think that these teachers need to understand that, even though that they are hurting, at the same time you're hurting the kids even more than you're getting hurt in the long run. So and hopefully everything over there. I'm sorry, go ahead and say that again.
And isn't the teacher's job to be putting the kids first anyways?
Yeah,
isn't
exactly.
That what they're supposed to do? Isn't that what they're paid to do by taxpayers?
Yes. All right, cool. So I think that takes care of that. Well, Izzy, I wanted to say thank you very much for being on the show. I greatly appreciate it. You've been a pleasure, and I'm glad that we got to talk about all this. Definitely, we got to hang out soon. We got to do this in the future again. And, I just want to say thank you very much for being on. Yeah. Thank you very much.
I absolutely loved it. Thanks for having me.
No problem. Sorry about all the technical issues and everything that were going on there, but thank you very much. Cool.
I'll tune in for the second half.
All right, sounds good. All right, Izzy, have a good one.
You too. Bye, Aaron.
All right, peace. All right, so that was Izzy Swindler. Sorry about the technical issues we had in that part for you guys. I'm looking for a good news story of the week, and I think I found one right at the last second. So this is the good news story of the week for you guys. Officer comforts a 93-year-old theft victim in a heartwarming musical way. Quote, "It truly made me feel good about myself and the job I do," said the police officer. Officer Craig Bull couldn't resist tickling the ivories after he spotted a piano in the Mansfield, England, home of a nongenarian whom he and a colleague were checking up on following a theft. In a heartwarming video that Mansfield police shared to Facebook on Thursday, Bull sat down. Bull sat down at the piano and played some classical music for the retiree. The Nottinghamshire Police Service later tweeted it was, quote, hashtag proud of Bull's actions, which now have gone viral. It's staggering how much interest there's been in the video, said Bull, who's been playing piano for almost 40 years. As I was playing the piece, when I got into a couple of different parts, I could hear him clapping in the background, and when I watched the video later, seeing him playing along with his fingers, it was wonderful to see how much pleasure he got from it, Bull said HuffPost. Well, told HuffPost, I should say. All I'm going to say is there's some great police officers out there around the world, not just in the USA, and I wish we would see more of these stories versus these stories of police killing people or hurting people when it's unjustified. You always see the negative when it comes to police and never see the positive, and I wish we would see more of these stories versus all the negative. All right, guys, I'm going to be right back in a couple minutes. I'm going to get the sports side of my panel on. I'll be right back.